There's no doubt that your positioning is really important, but there's a frequency that people feel before they ever read your words. And if you can dial that in and do it with intention on repeat, you're going to electrify everything that you do. I have already seen this in action. I've been doing human design reports that help people find what I often call their red frequency. And I'll tell you why I call it that in a little bit. But I've been helping people see that in their human design, and they are getting immediate results. Like, no joke. I gave somebody their report, their a little Loom video. They watched it. An hour later, they had a client because they used this frequency. The next day, they put a post out using this frequency. There's one person in the comments, like right away, it says, "How do I sign up?" How cool is that? Like, I'm telling you, this can really intensify. I want to share what I'm doing. So this is me. Hi, I'm Trisha, and this is my human design. And so I've been doing it for myself, but I'm now doing it for others. And I want to share what the concept is and why I call it the red frequency. Last fall, I did a class with 7 to 8 year olds. And we did color theory, and we did all of these experiments with color so they could understand it, because they're, very hands-on. We were all over the place. And one of the colors kept being the shining light, literally, than all the other colors. And that is the color red. So that's why I call it your red frequency. It's the thing that people notice, feel, sense, kind of like that. I was just drawn to it. I don't know. It just seemed to call my name. I don't know. This just feels interesting to me. We say things like that. That's the red frequency right there in action. So when I worked with the students and we did all these experiments, we looked at, which colors we could see from the furthest distance. We looked at it in different lightings. We did it in different atmospheric conditions. And I want to share with you here, I've got what looks like just something gray, right? And I'm going to clue you in. There's some shapes there. So you know that the shapes are going to come. No secret here. The shapes are there. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to turn the transparency. I'm going to go from 100 to 99 and wonder if you notice anything. I see something when I look at it, but I question it. I'm not sure that I really see it. And I don't know if you do either, but there's this hint of red circle right here. I know there's a red circle there. So I'm kind of looking for it, but I kind of feel like, are my eyes playing tricks on me? I'm not really quite sure. So let me change it to 98%. Oh, now I'm starting to see, I don't know if you can, I'm going to zoom in here. Move me up here. See that red? It doesn't look red, but I'm noticing it. And you know what? I'm getting the hint of the blue. And we're at the 99. I didn't really notice the blue. I get a sense of the red, but I don't really see the blue. And it's kind of hard. I feel like I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me. And the thing is, here's what I'm telling you. You can sense the red, but not the blue. Because we sense things before we see things. So, and if I go down to the 98 again, you get a little bit more definition on what that red is compared to the blue, right? And then if I continue to just take this down, you'll start to see all the colors that are on there. And they're all pretty bright colors that you see on here. So red is that frequency. And this is why I call it the red frequency. It's the thing that we sense first. I mean, it is why stop signs are red and streetlights are, stoplights are red. Emergency things are red. It's because we can see that color. Now, excluding fluorescent colors and some other things, reflective tape and that sort of things. We're just sticking to the kind of the basics. So this is what I'm looking for when I look at someone's human design. So if I come over to mine, I'm looking for, where do I sense that red color? And it comes from a bunch of different areas in the chart. One of the places that I start with are the centers. And so each of these shapes here are a center. So I'll look at those and I'll see which ones are defined, because that's where it's going to come from. So when it has a color to it, it's defined. If it's all white, it's undefined. And it doesn't mean that you don't have it. It's just not, it's not in the game for the red frequency. And we're looking for, what is defined. And you can see I have a lot of definition in mine. And when you have a lot of definition in yours, it can get kind of loud inside. And I truly sense that. I have so many of these centers lit up. But I go through and I start thinking about, who am I talking to? What is my positioning about? What am I trying to do? What am I looking to accomplish? And what's that one thing? It often feels very effortless. It's often something that you do if you work one-on-one with clients. It's probably something that you do in all your one-on-one sessions, and you think it's no big deal. And that is what I start to zone in on when I work with people. I read in between the lines. I hear them. When you're writing about your offers, it's so easy to just get in that, but this is what I do. Here's the value in it. And we're often taught as entrepreneurs to write towards our value, right? And I don't know if you're like me, where a lot of people come to this game, and I'm not a marketing expert. I need help with that. And I'm not an offer writing kind of person. I'm not a copywriting person. I need help with that. And so you can get help. And oftentimes we go down this road of, you need to show the before and you need to show the after. And you know what? That's totally valid. Help them build that bridge, right? Totally valid. You also need to demonstrate your value. What are the benefits? What are they getting? What's the cost of not doing it? Again, all of those things are value. But what I find is missing from a lot of that advice is this red frequency, the thing you feel before you read. I can't tell you how many times I've scrolled through, say, on LinkedIn, and there was just something about it. I stopped and I read it. And maybe it was an interesting visual, but oftentimes it's not. I'm not even looking at the visual. I just, somehow, I'm scrolling and I stop. And I don't know exactly what that thing is. And that's what this red frequency is. So I started really, my whole passion on this has been from my own body-led experience and how my body just naturally moves to something and how I can observe that. I also, I was a fashion designer for a number of years, and I also was a college professor at a creative school for 19 years. And I taught much of what I did as a fashion designer in the industry. That's what I taught in the college. And one of those things was trend watching and creating trend prediction reports for fashion. So I people watched. I saw what they were doing. I could tell they were going to buy something before they even knew they were going to buy something. I could tell that they were going to gravitate and pick up something, try it on, before they could, I felt like. So there's this thing that you can start to see in people and what they're gravitating towards and why they're gravitating towards it. And normally it's not because of the value. It is not because you explained the cost of not having this. It's not because you put that picture perfect bridge in there. It's another frequency that we feel we can't even articulate. Now you got to get them in. This is the red frequency that gets them there. And once they're there and they're reading your stuff, well, then it's important to know what that bridge is. It's important to know what my costs for not doing this, my benefits for doing this. What's the value that I'm going to get from working with you? So we always start with that frequency, the red frequency first, and then we go into everything else. And that's what I've been doing in these human design reports. And I'll come through and I'll look at the centers and see where that definition is. I will look to see in their activations, I'll go through and I'll look to see which lines are most activated, because you have a lot of power within that. And then I'll give guidance. Those are probably the two first things that I go through and I check. And so, if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about this, I will put some more information in the chat for you.